Welcome to Simply Listen. Today, we are going to go on a very long and deep journey. This is a story for anyone who feels like they are losing everything. But I want to tell you a secret before we start. Sometimes, losing everything is the only way to find yourself. Please find a quiet place, sit down, and listen with your heart. Anna lived in a small house where the walls were covered in photos of her friends. Every photo showed a happy face, a loud laugh, and a shared memory. Anna loved these photos because she thought they made her life complete. She believed that if the photos were there, she was not alone. She spent her mornings cleaning the frames and her evenings looking at the faces. But one by one, the people in the photos began to fade away from her real life. One friend got a new job and never called again. Another friend got married and had no time for a simple tea. A third friend just stopped answering the door when Anna knocked. At first, Anna thought it was a mistake or a small problem. She sent more messages, she baked more cakes, and she waited longer. She sat on her porch every evening, looking at the road, waiting for a car to stop. But the road stayed empty, and the dust stayed still. The silence in her house began to grow like a dark shadow in the corners. She had 4 chairs at her kitchen table, but 3 of them were always empty. She would look at those empty chairs and feel a cold wind in her soul. She started to hate the empty chairs because they reminded her that she was left behind. She felt like a book that was left on a shelf, gathering dust and turning yellow. She spent many months trying to fix herself so people would come back. She thought, maybe I talk too much, or maybe I am not interesting enough. She tried to change her hair, her clothes, and her way of speaking. But no matter what she changed, the chairs stayed empty. Anna reached a point where she felt she was disappearing into the gray walls of her house. One rainy Tuesday, she sat on the floor and cried until she had no tears left. She looked up at the photos on the wall and realized something very painful. In every photo, she was looking at her friends, but no one was looking at her. She was the one holding the camera, she was the one making the plans. She was the shadow in her own life, while everyone else was the sun. That was the moment the light changed in Anna's mind. She stood up, took a deep breath, and did something very brave. She took down all the photos from the walls and put them in a box. Then, she took 2 of the empty chairs and put them in the shed outside. Now, there was only 1 table and 1 chair in her kitchen. At first, it looked very strange and very lonely to see only 1 chair. But Anna sat in that 1 chair and looked at her own hands. "These hands can bake bread for me," she whispered. "These eyes can watch the sunset for me. This heart can beat just for me." She began to spend her time learning the language of her own soul. She found that she liked the taste of her tea when she didn't have to talk. She found that she loved the sound of the rain when she wasn't waiting for a knock. She started a small garden in her backyard, just for her favorite flowers. She didn't plant them for a party or for guests to see. She planted them because she loved the way the red petals looked against the green leaves. She started to write in a notebook every night before she went to bed. She didn't write about who left her or who hurt her. She wrote about the way the light hit the lake in the afternoon. She wrote about the smell of the pine trees after a storm. She wrote about the feeling of peace that was slowly growing inside her. Anna was no longer a shadow, she was becoming a solid, real person. She realized that the empty chairs were not a sign of failure. They were a sign of space, space that she could finally use for herself. One day, she was walking in the village when she saw one of her old friends. The friend looked at Anna and said, "I haven't seen you in a long time. I thought you would be very sad and lonely without us." Anna looked at her old friend and felt no anger and no pain. She smiled a very deep and honest smile and said, "I thought so too. But then I found someone who will never leave me." The friend looked around and asked, "Who? Is he here?" Anna touched her own chest and said, "She is right here. I found me." The friend did not understand, but that was okay. Anna didn't need the world to understand her anymore. She had chosen herself, and that was the only approval she needed. When you choose yourself, you stop being a beggar for love. You become a king or a queen of your own heart. You learn that being alone is not a hole you fall into. It is a mountain you climb to see the beautiful view of your life. If you are listening to this, and your house feels too quiet today, if you are looking at empty chairs and feeling like you are not enough, please, take those photos down and put those extra chairs away. Sit in your one chair, drink your tea, and meet the most important person in the world. That person is you, and you have been waiting for your own love for a long time. Do not be afraid of the silence. It is the place where you will finally hear your own music. When people leave you, they are giving you the greatest gift, the gift of space. Use that space to grow, to learn, and to love the person in the mirror. Because once you choose yourself, the whole world becomes your home. You are not left behind, you are moving forward into your own beautiful life. Thank you for staying with me for this long and deep story on Simply Listen. You are a light, you are a treasure, and you are more than enough. Choose yourself today, and never look back.